All right, here we go. Michael Colyar.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to Vlad TV.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Hey, man, big fan.
Thank you. I appreciate
fan.
that.
Big fan. I remember watching your Venice Beach stand-up on HBO.
Oh, nice.
As a kid. That came out in the 80s, right?
Right. Actually came out in 90, right at
90, okay, yeah.
Right at 90.
Right at 90. Mm-hmm. And just a brilliant, a brilliant special. And the fact that it was filmed right there on Venice Beach.
Yeah.
And, you were tackling race issues back then and so forth. Safe sex.
Addictions.
Yep. I remember the black and Jewish joke.
Which one?
You
said you were Jewish and half black?
Yeah, you said I didn't know whether to steal it or buy it for wholesale.
Confused. That's right. That's right.
So I just stole it from a wholesale warehouse.
That's right. My godfather, Dan Enright, loved that joke, brother.
On top of that, all the film and TV appearances and the stand-up that you've done since then, man.
Right.
Definitely an honor to speak to you today.
Thank you, brother. I love what I do, man. I'm always glad to talk about it.
Yes, sir. Now, you grew up in Chicago.
Southside?
Southside.
Project, Robert Teller Home, 4352 South State Apartment 909.
Okay. Now, you hear about Chicago these days and the violence and the gang problems and everything else like that. Was it that bad back then?
I grew up in the projects. Okay, so when I started, it wasn't nearly that bad because gangs weren't where gangs are now. So I grew up in that project. The project I grew up in is where Jeff Ford lived, who started the Blackstone Rangers.
Exactly.
Well, so then there was a different thing than now. There was a certain amount of control with gang members because there were leaders. And so the leader had his faction and you didn't make a move on nobody without talking to that leader. Giving permission. It ain't like that now because they destroyed the project. So once they got rid of the projects,
it all spread out.
Everybody spread out. So you got 2-3 brothers who run 4-5 corners, and then down the street there's 4-5 brothers that run 6-7 corners. So now you have all these factions fighting with each other, and it's nothing like when I grew up.
I mean, Jeff Ford and Larry Hoover, they could bring out 1,000, 2,000 people at the drop of a hat.
Right.
Which is why they're doing life in prison.
Yeah,
these days.
Well, they don't life because they got caught, but
right. But but I'm sure the government was also a little bit concerned about
anybody having that much power too.
Exactly. Okay, so you grew up in Chicago, but then you ended up moving to Los Angeles.
Right.
How old were you at the time?
27.
Aha, a little bit later.
Yeah, I didn't even really start doing comedy till I was like 26. I mean, getting people to give me money.
Okay.
And I was doing street performance in Chicago.
Yep.
And then winter came, and people wasn't trying to hear no jokes on State Street in December. So I packed everything that would fit my 1967 Buick LeSabre. I sold everything else, and I drove to California, thinking it's warm all year round, but it's not.
It's pretty warm. I mean, compared to Chicago,
warm.
It is.
It's pretty compared to Chicago, absolutely. But I was actually heading to San Francisco.
Oh yeah, it's cold.
Because I wanted to work Fisherman's Wharf, and I got there, and it was actually so cold that they had seals in the water. I was like, whoa. In fact, I did about 2 months of performance on Fisherman's Wharf, and then I passed out on the boardwalk, got up and drove myself to the hospital, found out I had stomach flu. Okay. I didn't even realize it, but then I found Venice Beach, which is like my legacy. I ended up doing nine years of comedy there from 86 to 95.
So you hit Venice Beach.
Oh yeah.
And you start just basically making jokes right there on the street.
Well, I had already formulated a style in Chicago of street performance where I'd gather a crowd, tell my jokes, get my money. So it was like a system, which is funny because when I got there, most of the people on Venice didn't really know a collection system. They didn't have that part down. They're just out there doing stuff and hoping you put money in the hat. But I taught a lot of the folks out there how to collect your money, how to make sure you get the money and have a hook first. You don't want to finish your show and then say we collect the money because they don't have a reason to stay. Right. People just turn around and walk. So how to have a hook first. Tell them, look, I got this thing I'm going to end with. Like I'm about to end with my 3 best jokes. Now, people want to stay for that. Oh, but I got to get my money first. So now you're collecting the money and they're not going to leave because they want to hear the 3 best jokes. So, folks got that down. Then I had a money grabber. I had that little thing. I squeezed it and grabbed the money. So I made a game of collecting the money. So I did 6 figures a year.
So, you were doing 6 figures a year as a street performer, tax-free.
Well, I didn't say that.
It's past the statute of limitations, so we're good now.
It started out being tax-free. After about the 3rd year, though, we started guesstimating what we should pay, so we'd pay something.
Okay.
So they wouldn't come after, because they came after the chainsaw juggler. Do you remember the chainsaw juggler out there? Robert Gruenberg would juggle a chainsaw while I was running, apple, a raw egg, and an apple. So
Okay.
a raw egg and an apple. The egg would not break. The machine would run, and he'd eat the apple while he's juggling the chainsaw. And he quit, went and bought a car dealership, a used car dealership, but they had sat there and guesstimated what he was making, and came back for him and took him to court. He had spent $40,000 in legal fees to keep from going to jail, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were doing 5 shows a day
Yeah.
for how many years?
9 years.
9 years.
86 to 95. And it was when you saw the special, that was halfway through.
Okay.
I'd been out there 4 years, and
Okay.
then I did that.
So you're out there for 4 years doing 5 shows a day,
Yeah. Every Saturday and Sunday.
making good money at that point.
Doing pretty
6
good.
figures.
Not bad.
And then HBO approached you?
Yeah, they approached me because about halfway through I did Star Search. So I
Okay.
won Star Search for the 100,000 and then gave half to the homeless. So that sort of attracted attention. So
Right.
because People Magazine put out like a page, his brother makes a living on the beach, gave back to the homeless. So that made HBO come out. Chris Albrecht actually came out, and they came out to see what is this brother holding crowds on the middle of the beach, and he wanted to see it for himself. And when he saw it, then they offered me the special. Yeah.
Okay. Did things change after that special came out?
No, not like they probably could have, but I wasn't smart, I didn't know what to do. I was an addict. And so I wasn't really smart. I was just a hustler, telling jokes, passing the hat. So I didn't know how to actually do my business, because it really should have changed. In fact, I shouldn't have done a 30-minute special. I should have done an hour special, but I wasn't wise enough to know. So I accepted the 30 minutes, And although my representatives was CAA, I wasn't really counseled to go for the hour. I should have went for the hour, what I'm saying? But I took the 30 minutes, and I was grateful, and I am still grateful to this day for it, and grateful for the time I had with CAA, But I didn't know, you have to navigate these waters of entertainment. You got to really know what you're doing to get to the next level. Plus, everything's about relationships and communications. It's about who you know and how you deal with those people that'll get you to your next level. So I didn't know. I just went on back to the beach, man, and kept doing my thing.